In my college years, I've always taken the jeepney. This is a popular public transport here in the Philippines to commute to and from my university. Sure, I could take the train because it's faster, but the jeepney just costs less. And I always left my home early, so I don't really have to rush. Besides, I love listening to music on my earphones as I feel the wind breeze through my body. It was during my daily travels that I first came across the aforementioned bus. It would just sit there idly at the exact same spot every day on 5th Avenue. I first started noticing it when a traffic jam forced the jeep I was riding to stop directly adjacent to that bus. At first, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but as time passed, I keep seeing it at that spot, no matter what the time of the day is. I began to feel disturbed. For one thing, the driver was always the same guy. He was just sitting there at the driver's seat, as if waiting for something. He would just stare mindlessly into the road ahead. I couldn't quite notice if all the passengers were also the same people. But if there is one continuous theme, all of the passengers are just sitting there. They're not even complaining about the heat or the fact that they've been sitting there for hours now. As for myself, I've never actually had any first-hand experience with that bus, but some of the people I know who traverse that same route have provided their own accounts. I'm not claiming that any of this is indisputably factual, but this is just what I've heard. My cousin's account. He usually takes the train because his university is 3 or 4 stations away from mine, so there's a greater chance that he might be late. He was coming home after a school project. It was already 10 in the evening by then, and the roads were practically deserted, when suddenly, an announcement came that a train had broken down a few stations ahead, forcing their train to stop on 5th Avenue and wait for that train to be repaired. He texted his mother if he could hitch a ride with her, since she was also coming home from work, to which she obliged. Wanting to kill some time while waiting, he opted to enter a 24/7 fast food restaurant. He ordered some food and he just played some tunes while he waited for his mum. Normally at this hour, only a few people dine, but due to the sudden breakdown, the other passengers have also entered the place, looking out for any passing jeepneys which had become scarce by that time. From his seat in the restaurant, he has a clear view of that idle bus. He wondered what it might be until he saw some people board the vehicle. He guessed that some people decided to just take their chances with it, for it seems that the train lines are not going to be repaired soon. Just then, he saw a car stop in front of the bus, which he immediately recognizes as his mum's car. He quickly finished his food, and he went down to meet her and hitch a ride. As they rode down the freeway, he glanced back at that bus, and what he found was that the bus had no destination, no display anywhere on its windows. It doesn't particularly go anywhere or come from anywhere, yet there were people boarding. Among the accounts I've gathered, he was the only one to actually see people boarding it. An account from an old high school classmate. I told him that I would probably be posting this story, so he didn't want me to pass on his name. According to him, he was also coming home from school when he had his experience with that bus. It was a hot afternoon. He had fallen asleep on the jeepney when the driver woke him up and informed that he couldn't go any further than the avenue. Realizing that he had taken the wrong jeep, he alighted, not realizing that he'd been dropped off at the far left side of that bus, directly below the driver's window. He hadn't heard of this bus before, so when he saw it, he immediately thought that it was just a normal passenger bus. Seeing as it was on that avenue, he concluded that it would at least pass by the terminal where he usually alights. So he boarded it. Remembering his earlier experience in boarding public transport, he asks the driver where the bus was headed. The driver didn't even turn to face him, but simply replied with a cold, "Straight ahead." He didn't quite catch what that meant, so he asked the driver again, and he got the same answer, "Straight ahead." It was then that he saw the passengers. They were all children, and they were all wearing white. White dresses and shoes for the girls, white shirts and pants for the boys. They were staring at him. He then felt the driver's hand on his shoulder, and the driver whispered to him, "They know you don't belong with them. Leave while you still can." Feeling a little scared now, he alighted, and he was able to board a passing jeepney, which took him all the way home. He was, understandably, a little disturbed, wondering what would have happened to him if he didn't leave that bus. I wonder about this story though, and why the children. On some occasions, I could clearly see a bunch of adults inside. Alphen's account. This is my longtime friend's account. She was the one accompanying me during all the other weird experiences. And not this though. In her account, she was alone. She was eating at that same restaurant, the one mentioned in my cousin's account. She had just finished a group project at her other classmate's house, just a few kilometers away, and she was already heading home when she felt hungry. So she decided to eat in the nearest restaurant she saw, the one on 5th Avenue. She was preoccupied eating, and she didn't notice the bus. Afterwards, she just put on her earphones, took a quick glance at the bus and boarded it without thinking. She even took a seat near the far end, occupied herself with her music. After what she thought was maybe 20 minutes, the bus hadn't moved. She just alighted without much thought, and she saw that it was already dark, even when she had only been inside for 20 minutes at most. She looked behind her, and she was able to see the bus start to move away, disappearing into the slowly darkening road. She thought, what could have happened in there? She hadn't paid much attention when she boarded, so she must have skipped some details. But as far as she can remember, the company the bus belonged to had shut down more than a decade ago. These are all the accounts that I've managed to gather so far. I don't think this mystery will ever be solved. Many times I go by there, I still see that bus. It's always there, waiting